नमस्कार दोस्तों, आज के वीडियो में आपका स्वागत है। टुडे वी विल बी लर्निंग अबाउट टेंस एंड सिंटैक्स. As we have already done in the previous class, the definition of tense, let me repeat it once again. Tense is the quality of verb that provides information about the time and modality of the action. What is time? Time, there are basically three timeline: past, present and future. We all know that. And there are two types of modality. Modality is the quality of the verb that tells us whether the verb is completed or not, or whether the verb is going on. So there are basically two types of modality. One is progressive modality and another is perfective modality. Progressive modality tells us the verb is going to continue, is continuing, and perfective modality tells us that the verb is done, the action is done, completed. And if we want to look at the syntax, syntax is the style of writing the correct form of tense, correct form of verb based on the tense of the verb and the subject verb agreement in the sentence, in any sentence. For example, if I write Rohit is always trying to get her attention, it's a sentence, assertive sentence, evidently. It is a correct sentence because there is nothing anomalous or nothing wrong in the sentence. But to mean the same thing, if I write Rohit are always trying to get her attention, that's a wrong sentence. That's why I given an asterisk in the beginning of the sentence. Rohit are, that's a faulty line. You cannot write Rohit are. Rohit is a singular third person noun that does not take the be verb are after that. So we are not going to write Rohit are always trying to get her attention. We must write Rohit is, right? We all we are going to learn about the syntax of an assertive sentence because it is the easiest type of English sentence in terms of its structure and meaning. So, moving on to the next slide. We have already done this in the previous class. Different types of tenses. There are mainly 12 types of tenses. Uh, Four for each timeline, like for past, simple past, past continuous, past perfect, and past perfect continuous. Similarly, in present and future, uh, we all have the same four types of tenses, or you can say subtype of tenses. Moving on to the first topic of our discussion, which is simple present tense. What is simple present tense? Simple present tense is something when you describe an action without mentioning or without focusing on its modality, and you just tell the time. That is a simple tense. Now, simple present means the action is happening in the present timeline, but you do not mention anything about the modality. That means the action is going on or it is completed. You do not mention anything about that. That is a simple present tense. So, here in active mode, you have to write subject. I will tell what is nominative. I will tell that later. First, you need to write subject, then the main verb. The main verb sometimes comes with an s or es based on the subject, then the object. So, subject, then the verb, then the object. That is the active mode of writing in simple present tense. And in passive, the object becomes the subject, then it is followed by a be verb. Uh, Evidently, it is only is, am, and are. There is nothing else. Okay. And then the main verb turns into the past participle of the main verb. So it becomes the third form of the verb, actual verb, base verb. And then it is followed by a preposition that is called the linker. Uh, it is mostly by, but sometimes in some cases it can be to and at. And lastly, the subject comes. The subject was at the beginning of the active mode, syntax, but in the passive mode syntax, the subject becomes accusative and it comes at the end along with a linker. So if you want to have a look at an example, then I can give you the first line, like Rohit eats an apple. Okay, that is the active mode, that is the active sentence. And if you want to turn it into passive, you have to write an apple is eaten by Rohit. Now, in the next line, in the next subject, we are going to learn about the present continuous tense. In this slide, you can look at the sentence first, then you will be able to understand the syntax properly. Here, I just change a simple thing. I just put a be verb after the subject, then I added ing with the main verb. So it became Rohit is eating an apple. Okay. So here the main verb is eating or eat, which is preceded by a be verb is according to the subject Rohit, and the object comes at the end for the active mode. Now you can be you can judge the sentence by looking at the syntax. First comes the subject in nominative case, then the be verb, then the main verb plus ing, then the object. Now, if the same thing is written in passive, then it would be like the following: uh, an apple is being eaten by Rohit. So the object becomes the subject, and it is followed by a be verb based on that object. And I need to write be verb plus ing, which is being, right here. Okay. Then I need to write the past participle form of the main verb. So eating becomes eaten, because the basic verb is eat, and the past participle form of eat is eaten. So an apple is being eaten, then followed by a linker by, and the subject becomes the object Rohit. Okay. The the tense are quite similar, but you just need to follow the syntax properly, because if you don't follow them, that will be erroneous. Okay. So each tense, like the simple present tense, present continuous tense, differ from each other based on the syntax. You need to be careful about that. Okay. And now I'm going to talk about the present perfect tense. You can look at the sentence itself. Rohit has eaten an apple. So the be verb changes to have or has verb, which is an auxiliary like the be verb. Then in the active, you have to write the past participle form of the main verb, then the object. And if you want to change it to passive, then it would be an apple has been eaten by Rohit. So the object becomes the subject, then has or have accordingly. Then the bean. Acha, what is bean? Bean is the past participle form of the be verb. So first object, then have or has, then been, then past participle of the actual main verb, which is eat, and then the linker by, to, or at, anything, any of them, and then subject in accusative form. So an apple has been eaten by Rohit. That is how you need to write. I'm not going to explain the rest of the tenses, it is already written. You just need to follow the syntax. Just pause the video, try to understand. If you don't understand anything, if you don't know what is written in the syntax, what is the general rule, if you don't understand anything from the video, just let me know in the comment section. Please criticize the video if I have said something wrong, or if you don't understand anything, if something needed to be cleared or explained, let me know in the comment section. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel, and share this video to your friends. Okay, pause the video, look at the syntax in active and passive. You can learn both voice change and tense at the same time from the video, because I have written both of the mode like active and passive. So I'm moving on to the next tense, which is simple past tense. Now we are going to deal with the past tense. So we have active and passive for the simple past tense or past indefinite. Very similar thing, we just need to write the past form of the verb. He called me. So here the subject, then the verb in the past tense, then the object, and that is the complement or adverb of time. You don't need to remember that. It can change from time to time. So the basic sentence is, he called me. He called me, subject verb object, and I was called by him. That is in the passive. Me becomes I. So the accusative in this active becomes the nominative in the passive, and the nominative in the passive, he, becomes him. So the nominative becomes accusative. Okay. So subject, then the past form of the main verb, then the object, and in the passive, the object becomes the subject and comes into nominative case. Then a be verb in past tense is followed according to the object, was or were. If it's singular, then was, plural, then were. Then past participle of the verb I have written in short form. PP means the past participle or the third form of the main verb. Then it is followed by a preposition, mainly by, but sometimes at and to can be used. And then the subject in accusative case. I'm not going to deal with this anymore. I'm just uh, skipping to the next part. This is past continuous. You need to write it down. Pause the video if you don't have any doubt. You can move on. If you have doubt, just let me know in the comment section. This is past continuous tense. Write it down in your copy. You can learn both of the things from the video, voice change as well as the tense, only for the assertive sentence. I'm not going to deal with other types of sentences in this video, in this lecture. I'm only going to concentrate on uh, assertive sentence. Now, this is the past perfect tense. Okay. Pause the video, write it down. It will help you in the exam, and especially if you are trying to focus at the 11th hour of the exam. If you are in class 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever it is, uh, the video is made for both of the students, like from ICSE student background, for CBSE student background. Any background can be applicable for this video. Now I'm going to skip to the next part, which is past perfect continuous tense. It is a bit tricky. It's a long chain of words. You need to be very careful while writing this. First the subject, then had, then been, then main verb plus ing, then object. Rohit had been eating an apple. Then the passive, object, had been, then being, then past participle of the main verb, then linker, then subject. In the accusative case, an apple had been being eaten by Rohit. Moving on to the future, very simple. You just need to add some auxiliary modal verb like shall and will based on the subject. Rohit will play the match. Match will be played by by Rohit. Moving on to the next tense, future continuous. You do not need to learn the passive. It is not applicable. Uh, Pause the video and learn the next thing, which is future perfect tense. Okay. uh, it is very easy. Future is not very tough because you just need to look at the modal auxiliary, and the have will remain same, past participle will remain same, and you do not need to focus on the fourth tense of the future tense, which is future perfect continuous tense. It does not exist. It does not it is not used in English language anymore. And there is a chart. I made this chart because many of you may not know what is nominative and what is accusative and what is possessive. Possessive means when you are going to talk about someone else's property or your property or any person's property, you need to write these pronouns like my house, our car, your book, his bag, their car. Okay, these are the possessive pronouns in the middle, and on the left side you can see the nominative, which is used as a subject of a sentence, and in the right side you can see the column of the accusatives. That means they are used in the object position of the sentence. These are basically pronoun. For noun it is kind of same. The nominative for a noun, proper noun, is quite same as the accusative of the proper noun. Rohit, Rohit, it does not change, kind of similar. But possessive, you need to follow the apostrophe rule, like the apostrophe s. It's quite similar, and you just need to remember the chat. Remember the chart. And if you have any kind of doubt, if you need any kind of help, let me know in the comment section. Comments, share, and subscribe to our channel. It will help us to grow our channel